Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks
Mowers.
Got my riding boy here today. Today is Sunday and we're still on lockdown, but chances are by the time you see this video we may be out, we're not sure yet. Yeah, Riley's just done me, he's been working in the kitchen very hard with Nana. He's done me a nice little picture. There you go.
Red and blue.
Red and blue picture. Yeah, what is that? Is that with sponges or what's that with?
Sponging.
With sponging, cool,
You
fantastic.
like it?
Yeah, do you know what? I don't like it. I love it. That's very nice. Daddy pinned that up. Fantastic. So today we're going to be looking at a little tiny Ransomes Marquis Mark IV with the Villiers Sloper engine on the top. This one came in free off of Facebook Marketplace. I was the first person to sort of nab it. I said I'll have it, and the next day I picked it up and the bloke said I had loads and loads of inquiries. You had to take it down in the end. The lawnmower is in pretty rough shape, to be sure. I don't think it's been fired in about 10 years. The only thing I've done to it is I poured some oil down the cylinder head and left it overnight. That's all I've done. I've got a little bit of oil now coming out of the exhaust, so I've been pulling it over gently. As I say, it's not been run for a little while, so it should be good if I get it running, eh? It should be good. If it does run and have no problems, then I'm going to look into restore this this little lawnmower, and I may even keep it for myself if it's a runner. We shall see. Let's see how we get on first before I start jumping ahead. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's check out this Ransomes Marquis Mark IV lawnmower with a Sloper engine. Right, here it is, the Ransomes Marquis Mark IV with a Sloper engine. It's called the Sloper engine because the engine slopes backwards. Don't know a great deal about these, to be fair. I've had a little go with the old wire brush down here, just try and take some of the rust off. As I say, it is in particularly rough shape. But we shall see how we get on. The fuel cap I've taken off. Someone's put a bit of masking tape or something in there. And it had like this sandbag sort of material around here, which has perished, unfortunately, and gone inside the tank. The tank is a little bit rusty. But you can get some nuts and bolts in there, give it a shake up and get most of it out best we can. We'll see how we get on. It's got a little tiny brass petrol tap here, which appears to be obsolete or knackered. They got a little cork inside there, so I'm hoping to take that off, put that in some petrol and see if that'll come back. The only other thing I have done to this machine is, apart from putting oil down the head, is I did put a new pull cord on. That was it, because the pull cord was particularly knackered. So I put a new pull cord on, just done by 3 bolts. Take that off and rethread one in. They're simple enough, self-explanatory. I don't know if I've got any spark yet. I don't know if I've got any of that good stuff. But chances are I haven't because of the points. So we'll have a little look. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this fuel tank off, assembly off. Take that all out, and there should be an inspection window in here similar to the stuff at Punches, and we better see what the points are doing. It does need a new exhaust. Well, it's got a big hole in the exhaust, but they are like rocking horse poop to get hold of. You can't find them. So if anyone knows or can find me a Ransomes Mark IV exhaust muffler, give me a shout, please. I don't mind if it's a replica, as long as it's the same. It's a round disc type, like a hockey puck. So that's that. So let me get some tools in place and we'll start to strip this little baby down and see what we can find. Okie bedokie. Let's take the pull cord off first. What's that on there? That's going to be a 12mm. We'll be working in old money, not new money. We'll be working in old money today. Should be about 1/2 inch, I'd say. 1/2 inchy. Oh, smaller than that. 7/16 in. Yeah, let's go with that. So 7/16 we'll remove the 3 bolts required to take the pull cord assembly off. Like so, no dropping, because the parts of these are, as I say, quite rare. So you want your wits about you when taking them apart a little tiny bit, because if you break something, then you're going to be struggling to get the parts for it. So the next thing I've got is 2 bolts up the top. They look like 1/2 inch yet. 2 bolts up the top that hold the toppler recoil on to the head. Oh, what's that on there? Is that 1/2 inch? That's 9/16. That was in my 1/2 inch thing. See, that's better. big bolt. And they go onto the head, and then you've got your spark plug kill switch here, the tab, around this side here. I don't know if you've seen a lot of this, so I want to try and get you around if I can. That comes off. That's that. Try and keep all the bits together where you can. So I'll try and move my camera so you guys get a bit of a better view. I'll just pull the engine round slightly. So the two bolts removed, one here and one here, pull cord assembly off. We're going to go down here next. That'll be even smaller. Change the old sizes. Back to 7/16 again. One there. And there'll be one on the other side down here. Okay. I'm going to take the HT lead off. Take the spark plug out. Now, does that come off? Now you've got to be a bit careful with these because the HT lead and the fuel pipe are all encapsulated within the pull cord assembly. So the HT lead here, you've got two tiny clips, and on the inside, which I have to note the fuel pipe has already been snipped, the fuel line is encapsulated on the inside of the pull cord. I should show you. Oh, a bit of a mess in here. Yeah. So the fuel line is encapsulated on these little tiny hooks just here. Okay, so you have to thread your fuel line onto that. A bit fiddly, but there you go. Fuel line is here and in bits. I noticed that when I had a look earlier on. So the fuel line needs to come off, but no biggie. All this has all got to be blasted out. I've got so much crud behind here. I'll be careful of that cylinder. So much stuff. So I'm going to put the spark plug back in. I'm going to hit it with the air compressor to get rid of all this litter. And then I'll come back when I've done that, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, just blown that off and just put some degreaser onto here just to try and get rid of some of this muck. There's loads on here, so just try and get rid of some of that where I can. Let that just sit and soak. So the next thing is I want to get hold of my flywheel socket, which should fit. And this socket is a size 15/16. It should fit. It does. And we're going to try and remove the flywheel cup. And then we should be able to see the points in. That'll come off nice and easy. Oh, no dropping parts. There's no spare parts on this machine. So that's cool. Little inspection window there, and I shall use my new screwdriver set. Now, I don't know who bought me this, but someone bought me this off of my old Amazon wish list. It didn't come with a note, so thank you very much. If it was you, can you just give me it was me, sort of gift. If you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. But someone bought me this, and I don't know who it's from, so thank you very much. But I'd like to say thank you to people who buy me stuff, so if it was you, give me a shout. Which is brilliant. So my Amazon wishlist is also on my pinned comments or in my about page. So feel free to have a nose on there and buy me some spares or some tools or whatever. It all helps towards the growth of the channel. The better I do, the more content you guys have. That screwdriver is a little bit wide for what I want. I'll go down the next size if I can. Should be that kiddie just there. So here we have a little tiny flat-headed screw that comes out, and then this little tiny inspection window pops out. You see, and that's where your points are. Take that out. That's aluminium. It's not cardboard. I thought it was cardboard at first, but it's not. It's actually aluminium. I'll take that out. We'll go in there. Right, now in here, we should find a set of points. I'm hoping they're just going to be furred up. But we'll have a look. Let's get the old Zippo torch out. That Mate Zip sent me. This is brilliant. Love this torch. Let's put this one on. Have a better look inside even. Where's your on-off button? It is there. Let's have a little look. I'll take the spark plug out so I can turn the flywheel with these. Let's have a little look ski. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. Right, so here we have a coil, okay, which tells me that this doesn't have points. This has been converted. We've got a little tiny condenser unit there. I shall show you in a minute. And that's where the points used to live. So this has been converted over. So let me just show you guys. Let me try and bring you down. Now the light on my tripod needs to be charged. So this is going to be a bit. This is going to be a bit cack-handed. So bear with me. I'd like you guys to see as much as possible. Right. So let's get that in there. Let's get you guys nice and close. So there's a condenser unit, you can see just there, okay, that's a condenser. And just up here, where that big hole is, that is where the points used to live. So this has actually been converted. A bit of a tickly throat. And then if I spin it round to this side, then you can actually see there's a coil just there, okay. So this has been converted. And I believe the conversion on these happened in around about the 80s. Okay, somewhere there. So someone has actually spent a little bit of time and money on this machine, and it's been looked after. I'm not going to try and remove the flywheel because we are notorious of being a pig, and I don't want to damage it any more than what I need to. I don't need to be in there, so that tells me we have no problem with the points. May have to recharge the condenser. You can shock the condensers into use again by using a multimeter, but we'll see how we get on. So I haven't even tried to pull this over yet. We'll see how we get on. So happy with that so far. Let's put the little inspection window back on before I lose it. That would be the next job. Let's put that back on. I know what'll happen. I'm going to lose that little tiny nut, and they're probably about £55 each for an original. This is the only problem with working on older stuff. You can't afford with breaking stuff. So that goes back onto there. So we need a lump fuel pipe. That we definitely do need. So I might have to do that first because the fuel pipe's got to go on before I can go any further. So let me just locate my fuel pipe, which I did have last night, funnily enough. Right, now I've got some fuel pipe here. Whether or not it's going to be the right thickness or not is another guess. That looks somewhere close, which I think is about the biggest I do in this line of fuel pipe. I have got some Suffolk Punch fuel pipe somewhere, or some generic fuel pipe. I don't think it's going to be long enough. So I'll have to try with this. Where does that fuel pipe go onto here? It goes onto there. That should be long enough, thick enough, and it goes onto that tap up there, so that should be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this fuel pipe off right up here. Cool. Shouldn't be as hard as that. And then I'm going to try to undo this fuel tap. That should be threaded. It's got the brass one on there, which is cool, because they're a bit obsolete now. I don't know if you can buy just the corks for those. I'll have to look into that, because if you can buy just the corks to refit, then I should probably just do that, which will make the plug work again. Yeah, I'll say it's threaded. And then it's left hand or right hand, which I'll find out in a minute. So I want to soak this in petrol if I can. Gently, gently, Mick. Don't go upsetting the apple cart now. Here we go. Oh, flush. I'll get a turn. There. Yeah, lovely. It's coming. There it is. There's the old galls. Little filter. So I'm going to snip that off and we give it a clean because that's absolutely filthy. And I'm going to put that in a bit of petrol just to see if I can get that. Oh, that actually comes out of there, look. Little tiny screw on there. Let me try and take this bit of fuel pipe off without damaging it. I won't damage that tap anymore than what I need to. God, it's well on there, that is. Well on there. Here it comes. Well, that's gone. So my new fuel pipe, hopefully, with maybe a bit of help, that might go on there. If I put that in hot water, just to make it a bit more supple. Let's see what other fuel pipes I have. I think that's all the same. I do have some slightly thicker stuff, which is off of a stationary engine. I think that's the same bore, is it? Yeah, it's the same. So I might have to heat this up, not heat it up, but just warm this up with some hot water, just to make it a bit more supple. That should go on there, I like to think. I'll check to see how much more I've got with regards to the clear stuff, but I think the clear stuff is going to struggle to get into there on those clips. So I'd be a bit wary of that. Okay, so cut back on. Now on these I've got little tiny cutout grooves just here, okay, and that covers that one nut just there. Alright. Don't be alarmed if you've only got one nut and not the other two. It's supposed to have, because that cup will not sit flush. Washer goes on. And then the big flywheel nut on top of that. Remember, there's no spark plug in here, so the machine can't fire. And there's the exhaust for those of you guys that are maybe going to be on the hunt for me for a new exhaust for this. There's the exhaust. It looks like it's roundish in shape, like a hockey puck. Okay, so if any of you guys can have a look for that, it'd be much appreciated. I have already been scouring the internet as of yet, can't find it. So if anyone's got one and I want to donate it to the channel or sell it to me, I don't mind buying it. I'll give you a shout out if you got one. Right, do that up. That's all on. So what I'm going to be doing first is I'm going to put the pull cord assembly back on. I'm going to put some okay, whilst that's doing its job over there, the old fuel tap, I'm going to take this carburetor off. I'll give that a clean. Because I don't want to just be putting stuff down the cylinder head. I want to try and run this today if I can. So I'm going to take the carburetor off next. Now the carburetor here, it looks like there's a little tiny flat-headed bolt, which is what holds the carburetor in place, by the looks of it. Now I've not worked on this carburetor before, so this is new territory to me. There's a little tiny flat-headed screw just there. I'm assuming that comes off and then you should be able to slide this carburetor off. That's the theory, yeah, okay. Not really quite sure what that screw does yet. I don't think it clamps nothing down. I don't think. Until we get it cleaned up, we won't know. Yeah, it does. Yes, that clamps that down over top of that. So if I do that up, Twinkie throat there, if I do that up, will that go over top of that? It does, to a degree, okay. But it is a bit more sticky. Okay, so let me bring you guys around a smidge so you can see what's going on. How's that better? So that little tiny flat screw on does, and then you slide it off of the intake, okay. And then we've got this little tiny throttle assembly. Now, this is new to me again, so you need to be a bit careful here. Just watching what I'm doing. Now, unscrew that and slowly try and retract that out. I don't think there's a jet underneath to undo. Doesn't look like it. There it comes. Okay, throttle assembly there. Yeah, there it is. That's standard as what we see in most two-stroke stuff, which is cool. And there's our carby. Let's get it up on the bench. We'll have a look. This is definitely going to be going through the ultrasonic cleaner. So we'll get up on the bench and have a little look. Right. Now, hands up, I've got to admit, okay, this carburetor I've not seen before, I've not worked on before, so this is a learning curve for me. Now, there may be some people out there that can give me some tips on how to do it, but this is new to me. So I'm going to have a go at it, see what we're looking at. I'm hoping it's not going to be too hard. I'm guessing back in the day, things were simpler. I'm going to try and remove that bracket off of there. This is like a little oil bath in here. It's a bit crudded up. Yeah, you've got to put some oil in there with a little tiny screen, maybe. That comes out. Little filter. Okay, we'll give that a clean separately in a bit. This must come apart from here somehow. I'm guessing this little bolt at the back is what holds all of that together. That's a guess. Looks about an 8mm or something similar. Don't forget we're working in older money here today. Let's try an 1132. It's a bit slack. A little bit slack. That's a better fit, I think. What's that one on there? That's 5/16. So let's try that. Now I can't afford to shear anything off or break anything out. So bear with me. Yeah, okay, let's undo it. I'll make sure you're in shot on this as well, because I won't be missing any of this. I've got a cable on my camera, so I want to have a quick move it around. Oh, it's quite stiff on there now. Come on, baby, off you come. That's going to come off. Put that over there. Does that loosen that off? No, there's a little tiny pin of some location here. That should loosen off. So I'll take that off as well. That one there. I'll have my. I'll try and use my socket set if I can. More than anything, I don't want to be rounding anything off on here. A little short extension. I want to reduce that as well. I'll take that off. Yeah, that's gone. That's that little bracket. So happy with that. Okay. Yeah, it's got a bit of movement in there now. There it comes, it's coming. Now I don't know if there's any other jets I've got to remove in order to get this off. It does seem to be fixed rather well. Got a little tiny jet here, some kind of needle. Yeah, that's impinging on that. See, that's moving, so that's got to be taken out first. So as I say, I am learning. So this is why you need to sort of take your time with these. What's that? It's be small, it'll be an 8 or something similar. I wouldn't let you like to hazard a guess the last time this was taken apart. That's a real long jet on there. It looks like it sits on like a clasp. There's nothing else holding that in apart from that very simple looking jet, which is there. That comes apart. Okay. So what you have is, theoretically, if we imagine that this is in place, when this goes back in, you got to fish this jet on top of that. Okay, that's how it works. All right, so that needs to sit in there. Are you seeing that? So when this piece goes in, like so, it sits like that. Okay, and it needs to sit inside that little tiny eyelet just there. Okay, I'll just show you one more time. When it goes in through the second part of that housing, it goes in and then it sits into that piece just there. Okay, so it looks like a jet of some description or a mixer. There's no holes in that. There's no hole in the bottom. Got a little diaphragm here, some description, it looks like. That's going to have to come off very gently in a bit. I might give it a spray of the old WD as well, just to help it along its way. It's probably not seen no fluids this thing for a little while. And then we've got a nut down the bottom here. It's going to be quite a substantial size. We've got quite a variation of spanners on this, I would say. We'll have to go up one. Don't really want to be using adjustables. Yeah, that's got it. Okay, let's remove that. So it's on the bottom of a carb. Take that off. As I say, this is all new, uncharted territory for me, and I'll state of that. There's a little jet in there. It looks to have a flat head on it as well. Yeah, that's a little flat-headed jet in there. Let me get my carburetor screwdriver, one I made. See if that's any good for this project. Oh, that's really thin. Yeah, we got it. You have to be really careful because, as I say, picking up spares for these are going to be a bit few and far between. Little tiny screw comes out of there, which must just be the keeper. Now I'm guessing that screws out as well. You've got this chappy here, which is your fuel as well. We'll take that out whilst we're here. That's probably going to be about 3/8, I'm guessing. No, it's 7/16. I'm sorry for the spanner jumping, but as I say, this is all new to me. So this one now undoes as well. And that's your inlet. That's full of rust and what have you, and that's got to come off of there as well. Lots of different spanner sizes being used today, which is not something I'm normally used to. That was a 3/8 on there, no, maybe 11mm. Okay. How am I going to remember to put all this lot back together? Little tiny fibre washer on the end of that as well. Now this is probably very, very simple for those of you that have done these carburetors before, but say this is my first time in here, so I'm guessing as we go. Now that's not wanting to come out any further than what it already is. I'm guessing it's got to come out, but I'm guessing it's being held captive somewhere. So I'm going to come to here next. Gonna undo this one and undo this little mate next door. This is definitely going to go in the cleaner. Okay, so I have damaged this float trying to get that out. And I've been in contact with Martin Butler over at Retro Restore, and he reckons you can just solder that, so I'll give that a go a bit later on. Now, where were we? This little tiny pin here, that sat up inside there like that, you see, okay? And that's what was holding this, this all together. And when you push that pin all the way through, it's got a little tiny recess there, that then sits all the way up. Hang on. Let me do it this way, get rid of that, it'd be easier. That then sits all the way up inside that circlip. And all you've got to do, literally, is just pull that out. Okay, and it'll come out. So that's how you do it, not how I did it, by putting a screwdriver in here, trying to separate these up. Because that's what happens. So whilst it's in the carburetor cleaner, I'm going to try and solder that shut. So we'll have a go at that. Now, I have looked online. At the moment, can't find a spare one. I spoke to Pete, and he has got a plastic one in his. So hopefully I can get an upgrade kit for it if the flux and the solder doesn't work. I don't do a lot of soldering, never really have done. This here has been soaking WD-40, and that's a choke, so that hasn't got to come apart. That now works exactly as it should do. I'll keep WD-40 in that, and that's got to go through the cleaner at some point as well. So that all works. I haven't got to separate that. I've got this little tiny one here, which I have started to undo. I was using an adjustable, actually, just to take that apart. So just going to undo that now, run that one out. So there's another jet in there. So that's this carburetor now fully disassembled. Nothing else on there that needs to come off. Nope, that's it. I'm going to give these jets a clean and what have you. That's blocked, you can see it is. And also the main jet is good, but it's blocked just there. It's got something in there, So I'll give it a quick WD-40. We'll put it in the cleaner. Whilst it's in the cleaner, I'm going to go over and have a little go at soldering that up. If I can't solder it, then I'm going to have to purchase a new one. But we shall see. This is the funs and tribulations you have when you're working on old pieces of equipment. So, right, ultrasonic cleaner's now finished. I have put a little bit of solder across the top of that float. It ain't pretty, but neither am I. So, that's all now done and dusted in there. That's all now nice and clean, hopefully. I'm going to put it on the bench, reassemble it, and when you come back, it'll be reassembled. So give us 2 ticks, I'll be back. Okay, so far, carburetor is now all complete. Can't really well. I'm going to spray the top of this. I've got some nice heat treatment stuff which will match in with that. Because I don't want it looking sort of daft on its own. But that just sits in there and what have you. That's cool. So carburetor's all in. I had to make a gasket up just there to do that. The choke was a bit of a fiddle to do, but that's now all on. And everything is as it should be. I've managed to get some fuel line onto it, but I've got a nice big length because that's got to go back on, connect the throttle up, and then I've then got to trace that all the way around so it fits inside the pull cord inside these 3 little lugs as well. So you'll have to sort of bear with me. It's been a bit of a slow process, as you can imagine, because the parts are not very easy to come by, so you can't really just go flat out with this. You've got to take your time. So I'm going to slide the carburetor on to where it belongs. I may have to just move that little tiny fuel lead round a touch. It doesn't seem to be very happy in its position. So I'm just going to slacken that off. That one. Slacken that off just so it can do its own thing and find its own route. Hopefully my solder will hold up on the float. I was gutted I put a screwdriver through it, absolutely gutted, but it happens, right? So that goes all the way on, which is there. And then we've got a little screwdriver, flathead screw to nick that up to hold it onto the intake. Pinch that down. And then the fuel line goes behind the exhaust, which is crazy, right? I'll keep it as far away from that exhaust as I possibly can. Bring it all the way around. Now, I'd be surprised if there wasn't a little bit of a clip on there and hold that away from that exhaust. But I'm going to put that about there. Because you don't want that touching the exhaust in any way, shape or form. So that'll be on there. I've got to just nick that up as well. I'm going to forget. Hopefully you're getting all this. I'm not just chatting to myself. double check you're getting this down here. Are you down here? You are, cool, right. So now, that can now be traced all the way around and up to the fuel tap which goes up yonder. But before we can do that, what you've got to do, I don't know how I did this, this is really weird. That goes on there, you've got to put the fuel line into these little tiny tabs. It's got to go in there. Don't just sit in there, right? It may be easier than what it looks like, I don't know. That all then slides in place. You may be able to pull it a bit, maybe, possibly, maybe. Just see in a minute. You can put your hand in there. That's cool. That's okay. We can do that. So let's bring that round. Put your fingers into there, and that just all I'm doing is just putting it into them 3 tabs. It just keeps it away from the flywheel. And push that in. It looks like it's going to get it. I think that's got it. And get a light. It's fiddly. What I've got 1, I've got 2, I haven't got the third. There's the third. If you don't trap it in there, I suppose there's a bit of a fear that you could potentially get your fuel line caught up in your flywheel. Wouldn't that be great? That'd be great fun. So I'll try and bend that tab down a smidge. I don't go too mad with it because it say there's no spare parts for these really, so well there is, but it would cost a few quid. Just go a bit careful. I don't like going in there. I don't like that. It does not like sitting in that bottom tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that a little bit of a crimp with a pair of pliers just whilst it's in there. Just to try and hold it a bit better than what it is. Don't go mad. Don't go mad. It's just not holding it how I would like. It should do now. I don't want to restrict the flow either. Alright, that's a bit better. Yeah, that's better. Right, we're in line. Right, that's all in line. There's a bit of slack on that fuel lead. Let it slide through. Just pulled it a touch, but now of course I can't see what's going on there. Yeah, that's still in there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So fuel pipe is on. Now the only downside at the moment is my fuel tap is a bit knackered. Unfortunately, it needs a new cork on it, and it's not something I was expecting to do. It's been soaked with petrol ever since I started, and this is a brass one, so I don't really want to lose it. I've managed to undo the screw. I'll show you. You just take the little screw out a touch. The piston will retract from here like a piston, if you like. Don't lose the screw. And it's got a tiny cork on it, and the cork's at it. Sometimes you can put them in fuel and they come back, but the chances are this is going to leak like an absolute vegetable colander. But we shall see. But I need a new one of those as well, so I think you can buy those. This is going to leak like an absolute sieve. And I've got to just measure and guesstimate the distance between that and that. It's going to be about there. I want to snip that fuel line off. Throw it over there. And then I want to put the fuel line onto this tap. Now I've got one on, up the carburetor already. It was a bit of a pickle. I had to put in hot water. I now want to fit this one to this one, and that's going to be just as much of a drama. So I need 5 minutes to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt all this together, shield back on, cover back on, all that sort of good stuff, tap back on. The good thing with the tap is it's actually got a filter on it, so if the tank is a bit rusty in places, you've got a nice filter here which should stop most of the stuff coming through, so that should be good. Do the throttle as well. That's just that little bit there, just got a screw that in, that's no biggie. I might just get a little bit of a clean just to see what we can do with that. That should be no biggie, and then we'll be nearly ready for a fire up. And I say nearly, we shall see. Right, so we have met a bit of a stumbling block. It's too dangerous to fire. I've got the machine is now covered in petrol because of a fuel tap up the top is leaking to a degree that I can't secure the fuel. The good news is the float is working and doing what it should be doing, but I'm still getting this fuel coming out of this carburetor and it just will not stop leaking. So I have now found the issue and I'm a bit shocked really. Let me show you. I have to move you about on my old camera a bit, but I want you guys to see what I can see. Let me just spin my old tripod around just a touch so you can get right in there. There we go. Are you ready? So there's a hole literally in my carburetor. Just there. See that hole? Halfway up. Just there it is. I'm using an LED light so it's perfectly safe. Yeah, there's a hole. Carburetor's actually fractured. So this is the end of a project until I can either fix this carburetor or get a donor. Now the donors, they're not cheap. The donors are going to be around about 50 to 70 quid for one of these. I don't know if that's weldable or anything. We'll have to look into that. But that, I'm convinced, is where it's coming from. Every single time I wipe it dry, I thought that can't be coming out the way it's coming out. I've been tightening these bolts up here like a madman. And literally, if I wipe that off as dry as I can get it, there's no fuel in the machine now, and literally just release the forceps, it starts to weep. Just there, I can see it. I think this machine's out of fuel now. I'll get a bit of a squeeze up. There it is, you can see it, just starting to circulate around there. So that's a problem. Wind a self-tapper in there, Mick. No, can't do it. So that's the issue. So I need to go and do some investigation work as to what I can do with it. But until I can figure out what to do with that, we are sort of stuck, I'm afraid, people. And you can literally, if I get a little craft knife, you can literally get a little tiny craft knife up in there. Boom, there you go, it's in. So that was the issue. Didn't spot that during cleaning. Right, so there you go. That's as far as we're going to go today. I'm a little bit disappointed. I've got to be honest. I want to try and get this little machine just to fire up. I've only ever sort of had it just puff, just with carb spray. That's all I've had it do. So I was sort of looking forward to try and get it to at least fire up and run. That's where the money was banked. A hole in the annual carburetor, which I really am gutted. That carburetor is absolutely spankingly clean, and just can't figure out how that little hole got in. I didn't bash it with a hammer or anything along that line, so really am gutted with that. I don't know if that's weldable. If you can just put a little tiny weld across that and just sand that back just to make it look pretty. I'm not worried about looking absolutely A1. I can just say, yeah, it's original carburetor and it's had a repair, you know, because that's what it is. So I don't know if that's weldable. Let me know your thoughts. If you can MIG it or TIG it or something like that, just put a little line across that just to hold it in, and we shall see. But so far I'm after a new exhaust or second-hand exhaust muffler. I need a fuel cap information on the corkage, and I need a suggestions on the carburetor. Or if anyone has a spare carburetor they'd like to donate to the channel, let me know. So thank you very much for joining me this episode of Micks Mowers. I know. I wanted to get it running too, but it ain't going to happen. It'll happen next time if I get the bits. But thank you very much. I'll see you on the next episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, whack the old bell, and set notifications to all. And any comments you've got, positive, negative, leave them down the bottom. You know where to stick them. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon. But until then, people, don't forget, more importantly, take her easy.